roads. The latest conditions coming up in 60 seconds. Plus,
from the bottom of my heart, I urge everybody to take the shot.
As North Carolina sees another 10,000 daily cases of the coronavirus here, health officials are begging people to consider getting the vaccine to fight the virus.
Plus, as we are now 12 days away from the inauguration, we're learning more about what the day will look like, including a snub from President Trump, as he now says he will not be there. Thanks for joining us here for the news at 5, everyone. I'm Sarah French.
And I'm Vanessa Rufus. We're glad you could be here with us this afternoon. And we're going to start right now with a look at that forecast and the weather that we're seeing across our area, because that's certainly what folks are talking about. Winter weather blasting through. Mountains seeing snow all day today. We've got our live look here set at Blowing Rock. Winter storm watches and warnings are in effect across the mountains and the foothills through tonight. And then in Charlotte, we've mostly just seen rain, but that could change soon as the sun's going down and temperatures get colder. Another threat, though, once it gets dark, we're worried about a freeze, particularly some dangerous conditions that it could cause on the roadway. We do have team coverage for you all night long. We're going to get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich, though, for a check the latest. Brad?
Thanks, Vanessa. Yeah, we're getting a lot of reports of snow across the Piedmont. This is a view up at Lake Norman right now. You can see the heavy, wet snow falling on Lake Norman right now. It's been doing this for about an hour or so. We've got most of the awnings covered. The grass has now got a dusting, probably about a quarter to a half an inch of snow there just outside of Mooresville up at Queens Landing. Now in Uptown, I've been watching this camera closely on the Mr. Sparky Carolina Camera Network. Every once in a while, we'll see some snowflakes fly by the screen, and it's basically northwest Charlotte to southeast Charlotte. York County now, what's interesting, the Rock Hill Airport's actually reporting moderate snow right now, but in downtown Rock Hill, we just don't have the snow showing up on the camera. Remember, the airport's kind of on the west side of town right there. But you can see the rain snow line just now moving into Uptown. Steel Creek has some snow. The airport's now reporting snow. Waiting to see if we have snow outside the studios here. Up towards Lake Norman, obviously, we have snow. Mooresville, Troutman, back towards Lincolnton, Gaston County. I mean, it's really coming down in Gaston County. Some of the cameras over in Bessemer City, just giant snowflakes, which means the wet snowflakes on the way down, they crash into each other and they stick to each other, just like rolling up a snowball. That happens in the atmosphere sometimes when you have these big wet snowflakes. They start colliding with one another and they get bigger on the way down. But this little band, this will be the main threat for snow. Again, it could dump a quick trace to an inch. It wouldn't take long. Some of the snowfall rates are pretty impressive because this is the upper low, which is passing right over us. Now, coming up, we're going to talk about the falling temperatures tonight, because when all this mess moves out of here, we're going to fall below freezing. So even if you saw rain all day, you could see some icy spots in the morning. We'll talk more about that coming up in your full forecast.
Brad, thank you. The heaviest of the snow falling in the mountains. This is a live look at Beech Mountain right now. WCNC Charlotte's Brandon Goldner is live in Boone tonight. Brandon, how's it looking out there? It looks beautiful.
Yeah, that's what everyone is saying, just how beautiful this snow is, the perfect temperature, it looks perfect. NCDOT actually likes this kind of snow. This is the kind of mixture that's soft, and when you really kind of knock it down, it really just pushes out of the way, and the plows are able to really get through it and knock it down, but it's going to still be a long night for many of those crews. It's a 24/7 operation in Watauga County. 24 DOT plows are running their routes, spending all morning clearing the county's main roads before moving side streets. County Engineer Travis Son says this is the most significant snowfall they've seen this season.
I expect to be running for at least 24 more hours. We started last night prior to the precipitation, and I expect we'll still be running this time tomorrow.
While the sun is their friend now, it could turn into a nightmare after dark. Person expects these slushy wet spots caused by melting snow to freeze over tonight.
Salt usually works down to around 18 degrees, and we'll keep applying salt as needed so that it's as safe as possible.
Highway Patrol investigated 7 car crashes in Watauga, Caldwell, and Ashe counties. Investigators say one driver in Ashe County died after his car went down an embankment. Drivers like Bob Rochelle, who's lived here for 30 years, are used to driving in the snow, and this particular snowfall hasn't been too much of a problem.
Roads are fine. Roads are fine. I mean, if they've been scraped, they're fine. If they hadn't been, they're still good too. So
That's going to be the big question as we go overnight with the freezing into tomorrow. These are some of the slushy spots that we've been seeing. Actually, earlier we saw some really heavy puddles of water in the middle of the road. And with those freezing temperatures, Highway Patrol says that's when you start seeing those higher speed crashes. They're hoping with it being Saturday, that there will be less cars out on the road. Live in Boone, Brandon Goldner, WCNC Charlotte.
Brandon, thank you. Now we want to get over to WCNC Charlotte's Ashley Daly, who's in Lenoir for us tonight. Ashley, how's it looking out there?
Well, Sarah, it was beautiful like what Brandon saw earlier here today in Lenoir, but that beauty has turned from a heavy, beautiful snowflake now into a rain. But residents we spoke to earlier said they're grateful for the little bit they did get, and some even say the snow was a boost for business. For a brief moment in time, Lenoir today saw some heavy snowfall, a welcome sight by some.
A lot of times Boone, Blowing Rock will get the snow, but we kind of get the flurries, don't get a whole lot of the snow a lot of times. So we were excited to have some.
Sheila Watts works at Shields of Lenoir Hardware and says that excitement was felt by many around town.
Oh, the anticipation for it yesterday was amazing. We were so busy all day.
Watts says people kept coming through the door looking for essentials.
Sleds, shovels, things like lamp oil, and thinking they might lose power.
The Walmart in Lenoir says they sold out of sleds Thursday night, but lucky to have theirs, these two high schoolers who took advantage of being out of school to have some fun in the snow.
It's just like amazing seeing snow. Like everybody's seeing snow right now, and we just haven't gotten in a while.
Now, Shields Hardware Store says they still have plenty of supplies, saying they had a lot left over from last year. Having seen very little snow last year, a lot of their supplies were kept in a warehouse. So they still have sleds if anyone here in Lenoir is still looking for one. And I do want to mention this. We were in the hardware store earlier today, and they had a sign up on behind the cash register, and it said, "The new year lies before us like a spotless track of snow. Be careful how you tread on it, for every step will show." I just thought that was a really cute quote, as many of us seeing snow for the first time, our first snow, just 8 days into the new year. Live in Lenoir, Ashley Daly, WCNC Charlotte.
Ashley, I know my kids are so ready to get out and play in it, that's for sure. Well, we are going to have continuous coverage all night long, but make sure to download the WCNC Charlotte app so you can get the forecast and radar straight to your cell phone. Vanessa?
Thank you, Sarah. And, you know, we're also very closely watching some of these milestones we're seeing today with the coronavirus. A very grim one reported for the pandemic. For the first time ever, the United States reporting more than 4,000 coronavirus-related deaths in a single day. Just one day. This also makes for a new all-time daily record for deaths for a second day in a row. Cases also setting records back-to-back with more than 280,000 infections reported yesterday nationwide. And speaking of those records here, North Carolina nearly matching its 10,400 case count record-setting day from yesterday. And while today's case count fell just shy of that, it still topped 10,000 people. So yes, that does mean over the last 2 days in the Tar Heel state, we've been seeing 20,000 people testing positive for the virus. We're talking about a Spectrum Center-sized group of people here. Today, State Health and Human Services Secretary Mandy Cohen says that she has never been more concerned about the numbers than she is right now.
We know that these increased cases are linked to the fact that folks are getting together indoors and not wearing their mask. And that's why I issued the secretarial directive this week to be extremely clear about what folks should not do. They need to be staying home unless they are conducting essential business.
And Dr. Cohen also told me that she thinks that it's very possible that also playing into these skyrocketing numbers, that new variant that's from the UK, the more infectious variant of COVID. And now, while that's not confirmed yet, that it is actually here in the Tar Heel state, they are working on confirming it. And ahead at 6, our Alex Shabad sits down with Dr. Cohen one-on-one to talk about how they plan to address those concerns. Sarah.
Vanessa, thank you. Today, the Gaston County Health Department opened its vaccination clinic to people 75 and older. Hundreds of people showed up at the Gastonia Farmers Market to get the shot. This comes after the county's phone system overloaded shortly after opening a hotline to register people. WCNC Charlotte's Chloe Leschner has more on how the clinic went.
Health officials here in Gaston County say the vaccination clinic actually went much better than expected. The average wait time today, about 20 minutes.
You can't work this event without getting goosebumps and knowing that you're potentially saving lives.
Those life-saving doses of the COVID vaccine getting into the arms of people 75 and older in Gaston County. Why was it important for you to come out and get the shot?
To get rid of this mess, to stop it.
600 people were originally scheduled to get vaccinated at the clinic held at the Gastonia Farmers Market. Cars filing in and out of the garage ahead of schedule. The county working to get even more people in and vaccinated.
Because flow is going so well, we're reaching out to people that are on the waiting list for next week to come in today. Currently, we have on hand today 1,600 vaccines because we wanted to make sure we were over-prepared.
And because it's the Moderna vaccine, it doesn't necessarily have to be used today, and none will go to waste.
You okay?
Okay, I'm fine, yeah.
For 99-year-old World War II veteran Al Stowe.
I've been around a long time. I've had some real good times and I had some bad times.
It's another moment in history, a turning point in the pandemic. Some of our most vulnerable, now partially protected from the virus.
From the bottom of my heart, I urge everybody to take the shot.
For now, the county is only holding these clinics once a week. The next one is next Friday. In Gastonia, Chloe Leschner, WCNC Charlotte.
People in Cabarrus County will now have to make appointments to get the COVID-19 vaccine online. Originally, you didn't need an appointment to get vaccinated. However, due to the long lines we saw on Wednesday, the County Health Alliance is now taking appointments. Appointments for the January 10th and 12th clinics are now open. If you're looking to get a vaccine, write down these phone numbers or take a picture of them. These are the phone numbers to call for different counties in our area. You can also find them on our website, WCNC.com.
Well, still to come here on WCNC Charlotte, the inauguration of Joe Biden now just 12 days away. After the break, we're learning more about what the day will look like.
It's crazy, but a lot of locations are seeing big, fat snowflakes, and others are still seeing some rain. But coming up, we're going to watch this band move through. I think everyone will at least get a quick burst before all the snow and rain moves out. But we'll talk about the potential for an icy start to the weekend.
It's just I'm afraid of working in this environment.
Catching COVID at work. The fear is causing some to choose between health or wealth, only to be left asking, where's the money? The Defenders answer after Sunday Night Football.
Welcome back. Continuing to track here the winter weather in the Carolinas and just showing off some of the marvelous pictures and videos that y'all have been sending us. So we appreciate that. Keep them coming in. You can see here a lot of snow pics out there, some very luscious snowflakes in some of those shots. So once again, thanks for sending those, and make sure that you tag us on social media if you'd like your footage featured. Sarah.
Well, the man seen with his foot up on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's desk has now been arrested. Richard Barnett was arrested at his home in Arkansas today. He's charged with entering and remaining on restricted grounds, violent entry, and theft of public property. A U.S. Capitol Police officer has died from injuries he got during the violence on Wednesday. Officer Brian Sicknick was injured while engaging with protesters at the Capitol. He later collapsed at his division office and was taken to a local hospital. He died last night. Capitol Police say there will be an investigation into his death. And new this afternoon, President Trump tweeted that he will not be attending Joe Biden's inauguration as people across the country continue to baffle over the storming of the U.S. Capitol building. Leaders across the Carolinas have differing opinions on what should happen to the president for his role that is said to have sparked the flame. WCNC Charlotte's Lana Harris joins us now with all those details.
You know, leaders on both sides of the aisle have said that what happened on Wednesday would not have happened without Trump's actions. But it also displayed a spectacular failure of security in the same location that is set to hold the inauguration in 2 weeks. And it's changing how the momentous occasion is going to be done.
We need to impeach.
South Carolina Representative Jim Clyburn believes President Trump needs to be put out of office immediately.
He wants to be remembered for doing things that's never been done before, and he should be remembered for being the first president in the history of this country to impeach twice.
Clyburn says it's a matter of national security after the president's last rally speech ended in his supporters storming a U.S. Capitol building.
We're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you, because you'll never take back our country with weakness.
What he said that led to this insurrection, it's no telling what he would say or what he would do to imperil this country.
But South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham tweeted today that pushing impeachment would do more harm than good, be unsuccessful in the Senate, and set a dangerous precedent. But Clyburn isn't buying that.
He sounds like he's trying to help protect a president.
Looking towards the inauguration, Clyburn says officials cannot repeat Wednesday's security failure.
Maryland and Virginia, I would hope those governors will start putting in place right now what it takes to activate the National Guard.
The inauguration was already set to have 2,000 or less people because of COVID, but Clyburn says that's likely to change.
After this, it may be even less people.
Clyburn says the inauguration will look more like the DNC, so the public won't be allowed near and shouldn't try.
Stay in your pajamas, get a cup of coffee. You're going to get a much better view sitting in your living room than standing on the street corner 4 or 5 blocks away. If the weather is like it is today, you're going to be miserable.
Now, Clyburn says that he believes President Trump should go to Joe Biden's inauguration as a showing of putting America first. And while there is still time for him to change his mind, again, as it stands right now, President Trump says he does not plan on attending. Lana Harris, WCNC Charlotte.
Thank you, Lana, for that report. And, you know, we're never very far away from our weather report today. We're going to get another check of that right now, starting you off with a live look at Blowing Rock. Oh, my goodness, it looks marvelous out there, Brad. And I was kind of chuckling to myself. I called the snowflakes we were seeing on some of those viewer pictures luscious. But, I mean, some of them look really hardy. And then I'm peeking out the window here in Uptown going, hey.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask
when
you,
are we going to get
because,
some?
you know, you're what floor are you on?
We're like up in the teens.
Okay, so this is the.
I'm looking. I don't see anything.
I'm the 52nd floor of the View. I can actually see snow falling up at the top of the building. So I'm kind of curious if it's still melting on the way down. So don't be surprised if shortly you see some snowflakes out there, because this is the View. We're looking down, and yeah, we can see some snowflakes from time to time. So we're starting to see some of that snow move into Uptown. And again, it's not uncommon to see snow at the top of the buildings and not at the bottom, because remember, even the rain today, every single place that saw rain today, that was starting as a snowflake. It was just melting before it was reaching the ground in some locations. Other locations, it was able to reach the surface. Rock Hill Airport's reporting snow, but as you can see, that rain snow line is right over uptown. It's very close. So we've seen Mountain Island Lake flip over real quickly. I mean, and when it flips over, folks, it's not just a little bit of snow. It goes from like a drizzle to big, fat snowflakes in a short period of time. That's what we've seen from Statesville, the Mooresville, the Troutman, Huntersville, Mountain Island Lake, Lincolnton, Bessemer City, Gastonia, York, Steel Creek. Not quite down to South Charlotte or Union County or Lancaster County just yet, but that little band is going to continue to push through the area. This is the upper low, which is sitting over us. Two things that are really causing the switch over. One, cold air loft, but we're also getting closer to sunset. And look at that down to the south. We're getting some convection down there. So we're starting to see that cold air work in. Now temperatures right now have actually cooled down into the low and mid 30s. So we're getting colder as that precipitation is falling. So we're getting very close to seeing some freezing conditions. And you can see for the next couple of hours, we're going to hover near there. But once the precipitation moves out, the worst of the road conditions will develop later tonight. And meteorologist Aisha Scott's going to talk more about the potential for some black ice in the morning. And Aisha, I think areas that even didn't see snow today could have some problems tomorrow.
Oh yeah, everyone is going to be at risk for this black ice as we go through the overnight hours, and it's because those temperatures are going to be falling below freezing. So I know a lot of times you hear us talk about the bridges and overpasses, and that's because these are elevated surfaces. So whenever you have surfaces that are higher up, that are elevated, that colder air wraps all around them, and so they're able to cool faster, but they're also much colder. So if you do have to travel early tomorrow morning, just a heads up, you will certainly want to use extra caution. Now, as we go into the weekend, we're going to start off on a bit of an icy note. It's going to be a chilly weekend, but Brad, at least by the weekend, we'll get the sunshine coming back, but then we're tracking another chance for rain and even possibly some mountain snow into next week.
Yeah, Aisha, the weekend looks actually really nice, albeit cool, as you mentioned. That's kind of the 2 day sandwich between this storm that's moving out tonight and the next system, which is heading our way Monday into Tuesday. Now, this system, initially, this looked like a storm I was going to watch even closer because it was so far to the south. That meant the cold air could be more in play. But what happens is this system kind of falls apart as it moves our way. I'll show you developing big snowstorm for central Texas, but then moves in and kind of falls apart. But a very active pattern over the next couple of weeks as we're going to see cold air spilling over the eastern half of the country. And we could see a couple more chances of wintry weather in the next 10 to 15 days. But Monday, Tuesday system doesn't have a ton of moisture with it, so we're expecting small chances of rain for the Piedmont. It'll be a chilly rain, but up in the mountains, as Aisha mentioned, probably another significant chance of some snowfall. Now, tonight we'll drop below freezing. Tomorrow in the mountains, we may never get up there. So if you're heading up to the mountains tomorrow, roads will likely stay pretty slick, especially above 3,000 feet. Down through the foothills, anywhere that saw snow could take a while to warm up tomorrow. Only temperatures in the mid to upper 40s with nice sunshine. I think that's the best part about this weekend. It will be chilly, but we're going to see plenty of sunshine around both days. 7-day forecast first. Watch out for those slick spots in the morning. Again, mountain snow Monday into Tuesday and stays kind of seasonable next week with high temperatures in the mid 50s with sunshine around for Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be right back.
Dateline tonight.
Hurtline.
New vaccination guidance out from South Carolina DHEC today. The state health agency now announcing that it would like South Carolina hospitals to start giving the COVID-19 vaccine to their patients who are 65 years or older and who do not currently have COVID-19. DHEC announcing this here with the public health director releasing a statement saying that reaching these patients while they are currently admitted to the hospital will ensure that the most vulnerable get vaccinated as quickly as possible, and this is all in efforts to speed up the administration of doses. This also comes as the state is reporting a record-setting number of new COVID-19 cases today with nearly 5,000 infections reported.
The country's leading allergy experts are recommending additional precautions to avoid severe reactions from the COVID-19 vaccine. The American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology says doctors should ask patients if they've ever had an allergic reaction to any vaccine. If the answer is yes, that patient should be referred to an allergist before receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. The organization also says vaccines should be administered in a place where allergic reactions can be treated, and patients should be monitored for 15 to 30 minutes right before and after getting the shot. Coming up in our next half hour, we continue to track winter weather almost everywhere, now seeing snow. Team coverage coming up after the break.
Your Coit cleaning and save 30%.
Now at 5:30, we continue to track the blast of winter weather hitting the Carolinas. The mountains seeing snow all day today. This is a live look at Blowing Rock. Winter storm watches and warnings are in effect across the mountains and foothills through tonight. And the snow has finally made it to Charlotte a little bit. This is a live picture from our view cam. You see it up there? Another threat once it gets dark, though, of course, the freeze. We could see some dangerous conditions on the roads as you see snow falling in this live traffic camera. Thanks for sticking with us at 5:30, everybody. I'm Sarah French.
And I'm Vanessa Rufus, and we are going to send it over to Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. Brad, I sent my fiance Lucas and the two dogs out to do some recon. I said, find me a snowflake.
We need a report. Come on, Lucas, come back. We need to have that live report because we're starting to see snow. We saw that DOT camera. We're seeing snow in there. We're seeing the snow let up now in Mooresville. We got a nice little coating on some of the rooftops here, about a quarter to a half an inch up there. Most areas have seen a trace to an inch. As we look in Uptown, we see snowflakes at the top of the buildings. Not seeing a lot of it making it down to the ground just yet in Uptown Charlotte, but we're seeing the snow show up. The airport officially reporting rain and snow mixed. Gastonia reporting snow, Lincolnton reporting snow, Rock Hill reporting snow, as well as up there towards the Statesville area. So that rain snow line seems to be progressing through Mecklenburg County. Up Statesville, we're seeing some light snow. And again, this is the main band. This is going to rotate through the area between now and about 8 p.m. It will taper off pretty quickly once it moves out. This is the upper level low, which is rotating through the area. You can see moisture still blossoming down into South Carolina. What's happened today is everything we've seen has been falling as snow, but in many locations, the warm layer near the surface has been so thick, it's been melting on the way down. What's happening this evening, that warm layer is beginning to shrink as the cold air aloft kind of squashes it out and the heavy precipitation begins to cool the lowest layer. So as we see the temperature get closer to freezing, closer to the surface, that's why we're seeing a change over to snow. Coming up, though, we're going to talk about the potential for a refreeze tonight. Anything wet, even from the rain, could be icy in the morning. We'll talk more about that in your full forecast in just a couple minutes.
Brad, thank you. And of course, as Brad mentioned, we are finally starting to see a little bit of snow in Charlotte. And with that comes concern that people could see ice on the roads tonight if it starts turning to rain and then freezing. So as the temperatures get lower. WCNC Charlotte's Brianna Harper joins us live tonight from North Charlotte. So Bree, how are the roads right now?
Well, Sarah, like all afternoon, we've been saying this shift between rain and snow can happen so quickly in literally 5 minutes before you guys got to me. We saw some snowflakes, but now you can see it's really just that rain falling. So no real road threat right now, but we do know here at the headquarters, the snow and ice removal, they are already sending crews out to treat those areas, mostly bridges and overpasses, because we know those tend to freeze first. Now, Charlotte DOT says they got crews out around about 4 o'clock this afternoon, and they plan to continue to treat roads up until 9 o'clock tonight. Now, the hope is that they can make everything well treated, but if there are any trouble spots, they're sure to have on-call crews out to attend to those. And again, as we've been mentioning, that threat for black ice is definitely very important for you to keep in mind. So if you do need to get out in the morning, you want to make sure you give yourself some time for those temperatures to rise before you hit the road and maybe have any potential risk of hitting some ice as well. Now, if you do come across any issues with ice or snow removal, you can always call 311 to have the city crews come out and take care of that. For now, reporting live in North Charlotte, Brianna Harper, WCNC, Charlotte.
Thank you so much, Bree, and we'll continue here with our weather coverage, starting with what some of you guys are sending us. So thanks again for sending us your footage. Mark James, viewer, sending us this shot of what folks are seeing in Statesville. Boy, that snow's coming down pretty quickly. Looks good over there. We could also start to see it sticking to the ground a bit. So thank you again, Mark, for sending that to us, and keep those photos and videos coming in. Of course, on a snow day like this, one thing that we talk about a lot, school snow days, right? Kids tend to get really excited because it usually means that there is no class. But of course, with the pandemic, we've got online instruction, and so that can make it a lot easier for schools to just go fully virtual at the drop of a hat here. And today we did see several school districts choose to go that route. They went virtual, which of course poses the question, did we just see the end of snow days in going forward, or is that going to do it for them? You know, WCNC Charlotte's Lexi Wilson joining us now with some of those details.
I'm in Statesville, where the school district said take the day off, even for those students who are learning online. Meanwhile, other school districts in our area decided otherwise. For generations, snow days meant sledding and sleeping in. Now it may mean logging onto your laptop.
I want snow days back.
With schools already set up for virtual learning, many districts are making a decision to continue online. 9th grader Teddy Hibbert goes to Gaston Early College High School. He received this text Thursday night, making his snow day a thing of the past.
It would have been really nice to have a snow day, especially with all the work that I already do have, even though school has just started for me.
Several schools in our area decided students can learn virtually Friday. Yes, yet another thing to blame on the pandemic. But some districts like Iredale Statesville schools decided to keep the snow traditions alive.
We were super excited that there was not going to be a virtual school day.
Tiffany Hovis's kids are in 4th grade and kindergarten. Their snow day was guaranteed despite the lack of it.
I was hoping that it was actually going to snow. But
Mackenzie Hovis having a play date instead.
I think kids need to be kids, and if they get the opportunity to have a snow day or an extra day where they can play with their friends and do fun things, I think kids grow up too fast as it is.
And I did reach out to the school districts that went virtual today to see if they would end snow days for good. I have yet to hear back in time for this newscast. Reporting in Statesville for WCNC Charlotte, I'm Lexi Wilson.
Lexi, thank you for that. And we'll remind you, if you're getting that winter weather in your area, be sure to send us some pictures and videos. You can use the Near Me feature on the WCNC Charlotte News app to send us what you are seeing around you. Just open the app and click Near Me. It's at the bottom right of the screen, and then all you have to do is upload your photo or video. And thank you in advance. Still to come here, many people during the pandemic doing some home renovations. We'll take a look at just how many folks took up some DIY projects and how this could affect folks trying to sell their homes now.
Welcome back. We continue to track winter weather. Take a look at this. The snow is falling. This is a live look at I-85 at Billy Graham. Really beautiful out there, if you can see it, Vanessa.
Oh yeah, that does look good. It's coming down pretty quickly at that point. Oh my. Well, we'll continue to track that. We're also keeping an eye on this. So, a lot of us have had enough time at home at this point to last a whole lifetime, of course, courtesy of the pandemic. So be honest, have you done a home improvement project while you've been stuck at home? If you have, you are not alone. We're seeing here about 70% of consumers here reporting doing some type of home improvement project over the last 10 months. Many did this due to spending more time at home because of COVID-19. 82%, I should say, adapted a room for working from home. 79% reconfigured at least one room. Coming up at 5:45, we'll take a look at how this is affecting people who are looking to buy or sell a home here in Charlotte. Sarah, my house has never been neater.
It's never been neater. Well, we moved and renovated, and it was just a disaster. But we're finally, I think, can breathe a little easier during all of this. Amazon has shut down Prime Pantry, a service that delivered groceries and household essentials. It was one of the retailer's early attempts at selling food online. Launched in 2014, Prime Pantry featured a selection of food and snacks, as well as cleaning products. It was designed to get shoppers to stock up on bulky, often expensive to ship items that could fit into one large box. Thousands of products that were previously available on Prime Pantry have been folded into Amazon's Prime site. Brad?
We're officially seeing snow out of Charlotte Douglas International, and we're seeing heavy snow in parts of York County right now. We're going to continue to track this last little band as it pushes through the area and tell you what to expect in your weekend forecast.
Workers.
We're working on all new stories tonight for WCNC Charlotte at 6, including an update on the new strain of coronavirus. Health officials say it's more contagious, and now they're testing for it here in North Carolina. We have a one-on-one with the state's top health official. Plus, as cases climb, North Carolina counties are working to get as many people vaccinated as possible. Ahead at 6, we're learning who will get first access to the vaccine in South Carolina. Also ahead, thousands of North Carolinians waiting months after they applied for help paying the rent. So far, only 20% of those renters have received any help at all. Tonight, the defenders are asking, where's the money? Realtor.com just released its hottest housing markets of 2021, and Charlotte is number 3 on the list. Spring is usually the time to buy and sell, but between the pandemic and a new president, what's the market going to look like in a few months? WCNC Charlotte's Bill McGinty has a look.
You know, when it comes to listing a house, usually the best time of the year, usually anyway, spring going into summer. But the pandemic has really kind of turned things upside down. The housing market can be fickle, hot one month, slow the next. So what does a change of administration in Washington and Congress mean going forward?
Even if it's not the outcome that someone wanted, the certainty of knowing who our president will be
increases demand and confidence in buying.
David Hoffman owns the David Hoffman Group, realtors and brokers studying the market trends like all real estate professionals do. Spring going into summer is usually the time to fix up and sell if you want to move. But quarantine for many has already checked that box. So it's possible the market this spring could be flooded with inventory, a departure from what we saw in the fall with low inventory and higher prices. Basically, a seller's market last fall.
And so while in the short run, the pandemic flipped the seller and the buyer's market from what we've historically seen in presidential election years, in the long run on a macro scale, Bill, I expect the next 4 years to follow the normal cycles of 2 up, 2 down, 1 up, 1 down. So we had our 2 seller markets. Now I expect at least 1 term of a buyer's market.
COVID's effect on the housing market can't be ignored. Homes were improved, additions were added, people stayed put by and large. So if you're a buyer, perhaps expect prices to drop, and if you're a seller, expect a more competitive market in 2021. It's location, 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 and in 2021, timing. According to the experts, if you're going to list very soon. I'm Bill McGinty, WCNC Charlotte.
Bill, thank you for that. Now we want to head over to another check of the weather. We've got a live look at uptown Charlotte. Of course, the sun has gone down at this point. I am unable to discern from this shot if we have any snowflakes, but Brad, the recon team is back.
Yeah.
I have 2 wet dogs, a soggy fiance who seems to be a little bit bitter that he did not see any snowflakes.
Yeah,
at least not on the ground level.
I had a couple other people tell me from uptown that they weren't getting snow at ground level. So we're getting snow at the tops, and Aisha was just telling me earlier we're getting a little bit of snow outside the studio. Rock Hill getting some snow as well, and I can tell you there is some heavy snow around Mountain Island Lake, Lake Wiley, Lake Norman. Uptown, it's a little more struggle, it seems, to get the snow, but the airport is officially reporting snow right now. It'll be interesting to see how much snow we actually get there. I think we're ending up with a trace, which is going to keep our streak alive 143 years straight of at least a trace of snow or more in Charlotte. It's just a stunning stat I always like to keep track of because, you know, for an area that only averages 4.3 inches of snow per year, the fact that we've never had a year with 0 is actually a pretty stunning number. And you can see that little band of snow moving across the area. This little batch is going to move through the Piedmont over the next couple of hours. And there's a good chance some areas in York County might get the biggest burst out of this because the returns I'm seeing on radar are really, really bright, which means we've got a lot of big, wet, heavy snowflakes there. Also seeing a little bit of some banding down in Columbia, but the air's not cold enough down there. You kind of see that upper low rotating through the area. Now, temperatures have cooled. We're hovering near or just above the freezing mark in many locations. This is the coldest we've been all day. It's likely why we're seeing the snow make it to the ground. In fact, the models are running a little bit behind as this batch moves through. And notice the timeline here. Really, after 9 o'clock, I think the rain and snow, whatever's left of it, moves out. But we really don't drop below freezing until late tonight, early tomorrow. And I think almost every location could be at or below the freezing mark. So just be prepared right now that we're likely going to see some slick spots tomorrow morning. This system moves away. We have a gorgeous weekend, albeit chilly. High temperatures generally in the mid, maybe the upper 40s, but then another fast-moving system that's going to cause winter weather in Texas and Louisiana, believe it or not, is going to move across the south, but weaken as it heads our way. So tomorrow, actually after that cold start, 29 in the morning, wall-to-wall sunshine, temperatures climbing back only into the upper 40s, but I think the key part here is the sunshine. That next system was something we were watching very carefully the last couple of days just because of the track, but it looks like it kind of falls apart as it moves into the Carolinas. There will be some snow in the mountains with this, but this is a pretty active pattern. The air is pretty chilly, not Arctic, but we see wave after wave of cold fronts coming in with another batch of mountain snow. So over the next 7 days or so, our only real significant chance of rain and or snow is going to be Monday and Tuesday. Snow in the mountains, rain for the Piedmont. Tomorrow we may never break the freezing mark in the mountains, stuck in the upper 20s and low 30s, only mid to upper 40s across the foothills. Here in the Piedmont, again, a beautiful sunshine out there, but boy, it's going to be chilly with high temperatures in the upper 40s. 7-day forecast, we should stay pretty close to average. Our average high is 50, average low is 29. We'll be a little bit warmer than that by the middle of next week, Sarah.
Brad, thank you. When the first part of the Hornets schedule came out, there was only one nationally televised game. That's tonight at New Orleans, and the schedule makers knew what they were doing. Sports director Nick Carboni joins us now. So, Nick, what makes this game so special?
Well, Sarah, and to point out, the game will be shown locally on Fox Sports South for those who can still get that. That is another story. But this game is a big deal because the Ball brothers play basketball against one another for the very first time.
I'm trying to tell you, I knew this was happening before it was happening.
Like it or not, LeVar Ball spoke it into existence. Not one, but two of his sons are first-round picks.
LaMelo Ball.
And they'll face off on the floor for the first time tonight.
If anyone's feeling something, I feel like it's probably going to be my family. Like, they probably going to be the ones getting all the joy out of it and stuff. Like, me and him probably just going out there, both trying to get a win for our team.
I mean, I think it just shows that all the hard work paid off. I mean, we're really close. We grew up together doing the same things, even though he's a lot younger than I am. So it's just, it's a good thing to see.
LaMelo and Lonzo are both a bit low-key, but apparently backyard basketball games at their childhood home in California were not.
Right, yeah, nobody took it easy. I mean, that's probably the most competitive basketball I've been in the backyard. Back there fighting, scrapping, falling on concrete, playing hella hard. I mean, parents getting scared when their kids go back there. So it was a whole lot. It's something you just had to witness for real.
Meanwhile, middle brother LiAngelo signing another G League deal this week, and all three brothers are now in pro basketball. LaMelo might be the youngest, but he doesn't sound like he was the typical baby brother, and he won't act like it tonight.
Physically, I mean, I always had that mindset. I always felt like I was the best. So. And then going in tomorrow, I'm just taking it like another game. I mean, I don't really get into one-on-one matchups like that, so just pretty much trying to get the win.
So there's been a clamoring for LaMelo to start, and the way he's playing, it's going to happen. It is just a matter of when. We will hear from Coach James Borrego at 6 o'clock and pass along any relevant lineup changes coming up in sports. Sarah?
Well, as Tokyo enters its second state of emergency, many believe it may be difficult and perhaps even impossible to host the Tokyo Olympic Games safely. There are now 196 days until the Games, with them slated to begin on July 23rd. A December poll showed a third of Japanese residents want the Games to be scrapped amid fears that an influx of foreign arrivals may cause a further spike in COVID-19 cases.
Wow. Okay. Well, tonight here, too, this is going to be a difficult night for a lot of folks. Alex Trebek's final episode of Jeopardy is going to air this evening. Now, he taped this week's episodes shortly before he died from pancreatic cancer in November. Tonight's episode is going to feature as well a special tribute honoring the late host. So you can catch that right here on WCNC Charlotte at 7 p.m. And Sarah, safe to say there will be never, ever, ever another like Alex Trebek, and we are just going to miss him so much.
I know. We know we had so many viewers that always watch the show, and we're going to miss him most definitely. So a life well lived, though, that's for sure. Well, the pandemic is putting added stress on pregnant women. After the break, a lot and a look at how this could affect these babies.
North Carolina Health Secretary Mandy Cohen describing their efforts to monitor for the new variant of COVID-19. She says they have to act like it's already here. We'll have more details on that coming up on WCNC Charlotte.
working in this environment.
Catching COVID at work. The fear is causing some to choose between health or wealth, only to be left asking, where's the money? The Defenders answer after Sunday Night Football.
Welcome back. A new study showing here that the stress that moms feel when they're pregnant can actually have an impact on the developing brains of their unborn children. So, of course, with this highly stressful pandemic that we're in right now, what could that be doing to our new moms and babies? WCNC Charlotte's Savannah Levins showing us how a University of North Carolina research team is trying to answer that question.
It's just a weird thing to go through everything for the first time, but then also in this hyper state of fear.
Since the pandemic started, we've interviewed dozens of new moms and moms-to-be.
Bringing a baby into this world that's, not normal right now. I couldn't take birthing classes, I couldn't take Lamaze, I couldn't tour the hospital.
A common thread, stress.
And I even wondered if I was going to make it to see my baby, because it felt like the end of the world was happening.
Recent studies have found stress in pregnant women can impact their baby's development. Things like impaired motor coordination, language delays, even negative impacts on the child's ability to handle stress themselves. Now that we're in a global pandemic, the issue even more in the spotlight. That's why researchers at UNC Chapel Hill are now studying how COVID-specific stress might impact pregnancy.
COVID-specific stress is unique in a lot of ways.
UNC fetal medicine professor Tracy Manick is heading the study, which is underway now.
Pregnant women, their lives are just really turned upside down, just like all of us, but in pregnancy, even more so because our moms are worried about their unborn baby in addition to themselves. One of the things that we do know is that individuals who have good social support generally have better pregnancy outcomes. And, that is challenged by the pandemic because, as individuals are encouraged to remain socially distant.
Dr. Manick says they want pregnant women to not be fearful, but aware of the impact stress could have on their babies and to find healthy ways to cope.
Meditation is an effective stress reliever for some, exercise for others, connecting with family and friends as best as possible.
Dr. Manick hopes research like this will help emphasize the importance of mental health in the medical community, particularly when it comes to pregnancy moving forward. Savannah Levins, WCNC Charlotte.
And we're also seeing a study here showing that pregnant women, if they do get COVID-19, seem to be unlikely to pass it on to their babies. So perhaps that will be a little bit of a sigh of relief on one front for those pregnant mommies. All right, Sarah, what's coming up at 6?
All right, now at 6, a winter storm brings snow and rain to the Charlotte area. Tonight, as the temperature falls, the concern is black ice on the roads. We're live breaking down what to expect. A new, more contagious strain of COVID confirmed here in the U.S. Officials say it may already be here in North Carolina. We go one-on-one with the state's health secretary. Plus, where's the money? Local renters waiting months for help. Our team finds out what's causing the backup and what's being done to pick up the pace. Thanks for staying with us, everybody. I'm Sarah French. Right away, the latest on that blast of winter weather. Snowflakes falling in Charlotte tonight as we take a live look at I-85 from our camera. The roads are wet, and right now Charlotte DOT crews are out treating bridges and other areas that are prone to ice. We have some new videos showing that snow falling in the Queen City. A pretty sight here from viewer Callie Evans in North Charlotte. Big flakes coming down there. So let's take a live look at downtown Blowing Rock. Everything covered in a thick blanket of snow. Families and kids have been out all day playing, taking pictures. We have live team coverage for you. Our Brandon Goldner is in Winter Wonderland up in Boone. But first, Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich has an update on this winter storm and the threat of that black ice tonight. Hey, Brad.
Hey, Sarah. Yeah, in the Charlotte area, this has been the most snow we've seen all day. We kind of expected it after 3 through about 8 p.m., and we're still seeing some bursts of snow at times across York County, Mecklenburg County. Still officially reporting snow at the airport, so we're going to end up with a trace there. But some pockets of heavy snow moving through Gaston County and especially York County. Very heavy bursts. This little band of snow is slowly shifting to the southeast, moving through Mecklenburg. Looks like it's pretty much done in Statesville. It's changed back to rain up there. But this little pocket of heavy precipitation in the form of snow and rain is kind of sagging off to the south. So this is going to move through the Piedmont for the next hour and a half as it rotates around the upper low, which is pushing off to the east. Now, temperatures, we're hovering just around or above the freezing mark. So most roads are wet, but you're going to see some big snowflakes falling for the next next hour, hour and a half or so. As this pushes out, though, we'll see temperatures fall tonight, and that's where the real concern develops. By early tomorrow morning, we're potentially going to see some black ice. We'll talk more about that potential with Aisha Scott coming up in just a few minutes, Sarah.
Our team coverage of the winter storm continues now in Boone. That's where we find WCNC Charlotte's Brandon Goldner. Brandon, how much snow is on the ground where you are?
Well, Sarah, we have our little bag of tricks with our ruler, so we're going to check right now this little untouched path. And it's kind of deep right there. It looks like almost 6 inches of snow. And what really DOT enjoys about this, how easily you can brush off the snow, and that helps with the plows, but they still have a long night ahead for them. As professional plows pushed past them, Sydney Miller and Lauren Olds braced for a back-breaking task.
But our management company doesn't plow, they don't salt or anything, so yeah. Thank you.
Until this driver pulled through for them with a good push.
Happy that we don't have to shovel all of that anymore. So much better than shoveling. Yeah.
While their duties are done, DOT crews are still going. Watauga County DOT maintenance engineer Travis Cresson says this is the most significant snowfall they've seen this season. He has 24 plows and spreaders clearing roads and applying salt ahead of tonight's dipping temperatures.
I expect we'll be running for at least 24 more hours. We started last night prior to the precipitation. I expect we'll still be running this time tomorrow.
Bob Rochelle has lived in Boone for 30 years, and he says even the roads that haven't been touched by plows have been easy to get through.
It's a beautiful snow, actually. It's not hard to get around in. It's perfect weather. It's 30 degrees, and it's really beautiful.
And while standing here, I've had this thermometer right over here on the ground to get kind of a look at the ground temperature. It is hovering just above 30 degrees. That's going to be the issue. Highway Patrol, they've already investigated 7 crashes, and they're bracing for the possibility of more crashes tomorrow with this snow and the wet weather freezing over. Live in Boone, Brandon Goldner, WCNC Charlotte.
Brandon, thank you. Charlotte Douglas Airport dealing with the winter weather too. The airport shared this photo on its Twitter account a short time ago. Crews out there de-icing a plane on the runway. The South Carolina DOT tweeted this video a short time ago showing one of its salt brine trucks out on I-77 in York County trying to keep the roads from freezing over with that black ice. Keep it here. More winter storm coverage coming up in just a few minutes. But right now we do want to get an update on the COVID pandemic. Another round of starting numbers today from North Carolina. For the second day in a row, the state is reporting more than 10,000 new confirmed cases in just 24 hours. The number of people hospitalized with the virus is also at an all-time high. As cases continue to climb, the rush is on to get the vaccine administered to as many people as possible. Today, the Gaston County Health Department opened its drive-through vaccination clinic for people 75 and older. It was held at the Gastonia Farmers Market. Hundreds of people showed up and things went so smoothly, officials turned to the waiting list to give out more vaccines. WCNC Charlotte's Chloe Leschner joins us with the details from Gastonia.
Each county is handling vaccinations differently. Here in Gaston County, the clinic actually went a lot better than planned. They were able to call about 100 extra people to come and get vaccinated today. A small injection bringing a lot of relief.
It would just tear me up to know that I had something that I passed on that would harm somebody.
Gaston County opened its clinic at the Gastonia Farmers Market Friday. The process running a lot smoother than anticipated.
I thought we'd be in line forever and have to wait a long time. And the shot's not bad.
Cabarrus County was forced to change its plans. An appointment is now required. The county vaccinated just over 1,000 people on Wednesday, but turned away many. And the weather and short supply of vaccine in Rowan County canceled Friday's drive-up clinic.
This is it. This is the historic moment we've all been waiting for. This is the part of the pandemic where it gets to the turning point.
In Mecklenburg County, the health department, Atrium, and Novant Health have all been vaccinating the elderly most of the week. Mass vaccination has proven to have some challenges, every organization working through its supply. This just the beginning.
We're going to be vaccinating all year long. We're kind of taking that approach and giving vaccine as quickly as possible based on what they give us.
All of this, of course, is based on the amount of vaccine that each county gets. Health officials really across the state urging patience in this process. In Gastonia, Chloe Leshner, WCNC Charlotte.
As Chloe mentioned, each North Carolina county has their own plan for the vaccine rollout. We compiled all the information you need to make an appointment on our website, WCNC.com. Scroll to the middle of the page under Featured and click where to receive your coronavirus vaccine. Meantime, a new, more contagious strain of the coronavirus has been identified in our neighboring state of Georgia. And while it hasn't been confirmed here, North Carolina's top health official says they are testing for it. Health Secretary Dr. Mandy Cohen says they're operating as if it's already here. WCNC Charlotte's Alex Shabbat is following the latest developments, all new at 6.
Well, Secretary Cohen tells me she's worried this new variant will put an additional strain on hospitals around the Carolinas, which are already dealing with a major increase in cases. That's why she says they're racing to get people vaccinated.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
It's the speed of vaccinations versus the spread of the virus, and a new, more contagious variant of COVID-19 could make it harder to keep up.
That's why we're racing as fast as we can on the vaccine side.
In a one-on-one interview, North Carolina Health Secretary Mandy Cohen says they have not officially identified the new variant yet, but just days ago, neighboring Georgia did.
We are operating as if it's here. And that means taking the precautions that this virus could just become more contagious.
It comes as the state deals with record-setting hospitalizations. Caldwell UNC Healthcare now opening a new emergency field hospital. That hasn't happened in Mecklenburg County, but area hospitals are 90 to 95% full, according to the County Department of Public Health.
I am worried if more contagious means more people getting this virus, and that means proportionally more people in the hospital.
But there is potentially some good news tonight. Preliminary research from Pfizer suggests this COVID-19 vaccine can protect against the new mutation of the virus. Experts say while the results are promising, the study only looked at one key mutation contained in the variants, but not the full variants. Meantime, Secretary Cohen says they're testing samples to see if it's already here.
We do send a number of our samples from North Carolina to be sequenced by the CDC. So I expect for that variant to be identified at some point in the coming weeks.
And Secretary Cohen says the new variant just highlights the importance of the steps that she's been telling people to take for months, like wear a mask and social distance. In Charlotte, Alex Shabbat, WCNC Charlotte.
Let's take another live look outside. The snow continues to fall in Charlotte. This is a live look at I-85 at Billy Graham. The DOT is out treating roads right now. Right, Brad?
Yeah, we've seen some big flakes falling across most of the area, but a lot of rain mixed in. Everything's wet. We're not seeing any sticking on the roads, but coming up later tonight as temperatures fall, we could run into some problems. I'll talk more about that coming up in your full forecast.
And real quick, we have to share this viewer video with you. This is from Craig Whiteblaze in Boone. He didn't have a sled, so he hopped on his kayak for a downhill ride. Good thing he fell before it got too dangerous. We're glad you're okay. We'd love to see the winter weather in your neighborhood, though. You can text your photos super easy to the number on your screen, 704-329-3600. We'll have much more snow coverage for you coming up.
I'm afraid of working in this environment.
Catching COVID at work. The fear is causing some to choose between health or wealth, only to be left asking, where's the money? The Defenders answer after Sunday Night Football.
Receive an all-cash offer and close in as little as 21 days. Go to markspain.com and start packing.
Welcome back. Check out this live look at Beach Mountain. Lots of fresh snow today for skiers and snowboarders. We've also seen snow as far south as Clover. Brad will join us with an update on the winter storm in just a few minutes. Despite efforts to speed up the delivery of HOPE program money, roughly 30,000 North Carolinians are still waiting to receive rental and utility assistance. And our Defenders team has learned those delays are especially placing a burden on women. Nate Morabito continues to ask where's the money on their behalf. In response, the state is promising a faster process moving forward.
The state won't set a timeline for when people can expect to secure their money, but assures us more changes are on the way to speed things up. In the meantime, we've learned 80% of the people who applied for HOPE program help are women.
Yeah, I feel so bad.
It's already hard enough to swallow your pride and ask for help.
I don't have anybody to fall back on immediately.
But for these women, that's just the beginning.
They always say once you get behind one time, then it's hard to catch up.
Both are behind on rent.
I wake up and that is the first thing that's on my mind.
Both received initial approval from the Housing Opportunities and Prevention of Evictions program in November.
It's been hard. Very hard.
And both started the new year without help arriving. No money, no explanation.
We have just been kind of left in the dark.
The majority of people who applied for HOPE money, mostly women, are still waiting too.
I am getting nervous now that it is past the end of December into January.
What's the holdup?
What I would say is we have been able to serve a lot of people in a very short period of time.
Haley Pfeiffer Haynes is with the Office of Recovery and Resiliency, a state agency tasked with quickly creating the HOPE program, approving applicants, and then delivering the money.
We're very proud that we've been able to deliver over $32 million in less than 3 months.
But that $32 million makes up only 20% of the program's funding. The majority of people haven't received their money. Is that good enough?
We are always looking to improve what we're doing, and it's not good enough until we have served everyone, and that is certainly how we are looking at it.
The state's reassessing how it operates the program, having learned it takes too much time and resources to manage all 42,000 cases individually, initially with no new staff. The agency hired 150 new employees to help in December.
One case by one case by one case, it is slower than if you can do something in a big batch. And so that is what we are working towards.
The state is now working directly with large utility companies to help people pay for power. And the agency plans on a similar effort with property managers in the near future. The state's also moving away from awarding lump sums, instead hoping smaller, more frequent payments will reduce casework on the front end. The efforts are making a difference. Records show the number of households in the payment stage has nearly doubled in just the last 2 weeks.
We are going as fast as we can, and, we really understand that people need this assistance.
People like Karen Crawley and Randy Berardi, assistance that would do more than just provide relief.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea what it would mean to me.
It helped them feel secure again in their own homes.
I could kind of breathe.
Hopefully those women will receive their money soon. After the Defenders reached out on their behalf, the state escalated their cases. Nate Morabito, WCNC Charlotte.
If you're struggling with the bills and aren't receiving the help you need, WCNC may be able to help you find a way. Email the Defenders at WCNC.com. All right, let's get back to our coverage of the winter storm. Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich is here. Brad, snow in Charlotte and York County tonight. That's pretty rare, right?
Yeah, we're seeing the first snow of the season really for many locations. I was just looking outside our weather garden. We've got some snow falling out there right now. The airport officially reporting snow. Some big snow falling up in Kannapolis right now. Concord. Gastonia officially 3/10 of an inch of snow has fallen at the Gastonia Airport. Down towards Rock Hill, we're looking at about 2/10 of an inch. The rain and snow has kind of moved out of areas north and west of Charlotte. So this is the batch that's going to continue pushing south and east. So Union County, Lancaster, Chester, Chesterfield, you might get a burst of snow at the tail end here, especially with temperatures dropping. This is kind of sagging down to the south and rotating around what is the upper low, which is kind of right in here, it looks like. So this is wrapping around that northwest side, the very tail end. This is kind of what we expected would be the highest chance of snow in Charlotte, and sure enough, kind of verified for areas south of Charlotte. Where we saw a lot less snow is up here, Salisbury to Statesville. Only about a half an inch to an inch on some of the grassy surfaces up there. Back to the mountains, really big winters, 9-10 inches in some locations in the higher elevations, and some spots in the foothills saw 2 to 4, but some other areas only saw like an inch or 2, especially around Lenore. What's happened today, everything started as snow. Even the rain that fell over Charlotte most of the day was snow at one point. It was just melting in this warm layer on the way down. What's happened through time, that warm layer is getting smaller and smaller and shrinking so that the snow is able to survive its trip down to the surface. That's why you can see it go from rain to snow pretty quickly. And what's happening, the snowflakes are so wet, they're running into each other and they get bigger and they're kind of making a snowball. And so you'll see those huge snowflakes falling from time to time. Winter storm warnings remain in effect and winter weather advisories till 10. Could see this extended in some locations because of black ice tonight, and here's why. We'll hover in the low to mid 30s, but right around sunrise tomorrow, worst travel is going to be right there, 4 a.m. to about 8 a.m. where we drop below freezing. Anything wet could ice up. This system moves out in the weekend. Actually very nice. Lots of sunshine, upper 40s to near 50 for highs, morning lows in the 20s. We're in between systems, but another strong system over Texas moves down to the Gulf Coast, and normally this would be a system I would watch carefully, but there are signs it's going to weaken as it heads our way. So tomorrow's beautiful, lots of sunshine. Get outside if you can, even though it's chilly, because that next system is going to bring us a chance of rain mostly on Monday, Tuesday, but maybe some snow. Notice how the thing kind of falls apart. Some of the energy goes off to the southeast. The rest kind of just completely falls apart. We'll see another strong cold front approaching by the end of next week, and it looks like a big trough over the eastern half of the country. The pattern setting up next weekend in particular is pretty cold. We'll watch this trough dig down across the eastern half of Canada into the U.S. What's going on is the polar vortex is weakened a little bit, so it's starting to send some shots of cold air down. They're not making it all the way to the Carolinas, but it keeps the pattern very unsettled into the foreseeable future. So as we look at our long-range temperatures, below average obviously today and tomorrow, but we'll hover right around that 50-degree mark for the next 7 to 10 days. Tomorrow, these are the highs. I mean, we'll be down in the low 20s tonight, but maybe only cracking 30 in the mountains, mid to upper 40s across the foothills, and here in the Piedmont, upper 40s to near 50. But the good part, lots of sunshine. Here's the 7-day forecast. Chilly weekend, some rain Monday to Tuesday with mountain snow, back into the mid-50s by the middle of next week, Sarah.
All right, Brad, thank you. Will LaMelo Ball make his first NBA start tonight against his brother? Nick has the answers coming up next in sports.
Wake up with Hardee's.
Welcome back. It's not often Hornets fans have a night like this, a nationally televised game at New Orleans. Rookie guard LaMelo Ball and his brother Lonzo facing off on the basketball floor for the first time. LaMelo will not start, we just found out, but he's averaging 24 minutes a game. Head coach James Borrego just asked about LaMelo and Lonzo.
I think they're leaders out there. They got great vision. You can tell they know the game at a high level. I think that's the common thread, is that they both understand the game at a high level. And their teammates like playing with them. I think that's the biggest thing.
Highlights tonight at 11. Meanwhile, Charlotte native Seth Curry reportedly testing positive for COVID-19. The 76ers guard learning of the positive test against the Nets last night. He was already on the bench with a mask, immediately left and went into isolation. We'll monitor that situation. Meanwhile, North Carolina's game against Clemson tomorrow, that's been postponed due to a positive test in the Tigers program. This also means Clemson's Tuesday night game against Syracuse is going to be postponed. Tigers ranked 20th in the country. Well, the Panthers have now interviewed 13 candidates for their open general manager position. Quite easy to do over Zoom. And today they took a look at in-house candidates, Pat Stewart, the team's director of player personnel, and Samir Suleiman, the salary cap expert they hired heading into the season. And a programming note, we will have 2 primetime wildcard games this weekend right here on WCNC Charlotte. Tomorrow night, Ron Rivera's Washington football team trying to topple Tom Brady in Tampa. And Sunday, AFC North rivals Cleveland and Pittsburgh will battle to advance. All right, baseball losing an absolute legend. Longtime Dodgers manager Tommy Lasorda dying yesterday at the age of 93. As a player and manager, he spent 71 years with the Dodgers organization dating back to their days in Brooklyn. Quite the character. He won 2 World Series as manager. Lasorda briefly played minor league baseball, get this, locally with the Concord Weavers back in 1945, and he met his wife pitching for the Dodgers minor league affiliate down in Greenville, South Carolina. A great man and a great loss. Sarah?
Nick, thank you. And we have a lot of video coming tonight of snow falling all across the area. This is video from Statesville sent in by viewer Mark James. Looks like big fluffy snowflakes out there. Brad, one last check of the forecast. I know a lot of people are enjoying this snow today.
Yeah, people have been telling me all day they haven't seen snow in the last hour. We've seen a lot of people start to send pictures in of snow in and around the Charlotte metro area. We've seen snow pretty much in all locations around Charlotte. It hasn't worked its way all the way into Union and Lancaster County yet, but that's going to continue to shift to the south. It's coming to an end pretty quickly to the north. I'd say we probably got another 2 hours of this at the most before it moves out, and then we'll watch for that refreeze tonight into tomorrow morning. Sarah.
Brad, thank you, and thanks for joining us. Nightly News is next. We'll see you back here at 11.
Download the WCNC Charlotte News app. Powered by the #1 TV news website in Charlotte, WCNC.com.